Hello, I'd like to deposit this to checking.
Fate is a fickle master.
What?
The future is uncertain.
Okay, and what's my account balance?
The horizon is cloudy. I see a long, treacherous voyage filled with great peril.
Look, can I just get a deposit slip or something?
A fortune bank teller. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I see a yellow-eyed serpent and a low APR.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Hope you're having a good Thursday morning and glad you're spending part of it with us. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Trey Wingo with Mike Golic and Mike Golic Jr. It is a bitter, cold, snowy day all up and down the East Coast. And also it's cold in other parts of the country. But wherever we are, if you're a part of this, we hope you're doing okay and your drive into work is manageable as the winds and snow are picking up everywhere here. And that's going to be a big part of the discussions coming up a little later on this show as Good Morning America's Ginger Zee will join us.
Yes.
She's chief meteorologist.
She's going to have an issue with both of us.
Which is
we
fair.
were having a little fun yesterday, and word got to her about that. So she's going to have a little fun. Did you see Jim Cantore talking about Mike Trout?
Yes, how about that?
Mike Trout is, I guess, loves the weather. Cantore said there's no question he would have been a meteorologist if he wasn't a phenomenal baseball player. He really loves weather. He's a total geek about it, and it was great talking to him about it. I think that's fantastic.
He said, I've been talking to Mike Trout all week. He's so excited about this storm. Again, the bomb cyclone is what they're calling it, which I'd never heard before. And I've grown up on the East Coast. I grew up in Connecticut. I've seen, like, Nemo a few years ago drop like 28 inches on us of snow. I've never heard the term bomb cyclone before, so I'm excited about that.
I haven't either.
To figure out what I thought the Night King from Game of Thrones might have come up with.
How can you be excited about that? It's going to dump. We're going to be out shoveling it later.
Yeah, well,
tired of shoveling.
You're coming by and shoveling my driveway, right?
The real issue, I understand, is the wind. Low pressure system creating some sort of room for these fierce winds coming off the coast. It's coming up from Florida.
I learned all this when I got my meteorologist degree online last night.
See, that's why she's going to be angry with you.
And I should tell Trout the same thing. Mike Trout could have one by today as well.
See, Ginger's going to be very upset with you.
About what? What am I saying? This
meteorology is not that easy. Now, she's going to be upset with me because I think wind chill is a Jedi mind trick.
Yes.
It's 30 just all to make us feel worse.
If it's 30 degrees out and the wind chill is 10, it feels exactly the same.
The temperature is the temperature.
Oh, my gosh.
The ceiling is the roof.
For those of us that have walked to 5 a.m. workouts in the cold in South Bend, I can assure you the wind chill's a real thing. It's very real.
Oh, I'm sure it's real, but I just want to pretend like it isn't. See, it's all here.
Ginger's gonna yell at us.
She's gonna be very upset with us, and
she
has every right to be.
Yes, she does.
All right, so we'll get into that a little bit later, but let's start with what's trending. That's our sounder. I like that.
I do too.
How about Kyrie Irving?
Yeah.
Only 11 points, but listen, the best news for the Celtics, you didn't need a big Kyrie Irving performance as they crushed Cleveland as they held them to a season-low 88 points on Wednesday.
And I don't think anybody's taken a whole lot out of this game, at all. Outside of the defense that the Celtics play, they've been consistently great at defense, holding top teams to under 100 points this year. But they also know that Cleveland doesn't have Isaiah Thomas, who isn't fully healthy yet, and is going to be obviously a big part of that team. And Cleveland knows that as well. They don't have all their guys, not only on the court, but let alone healthy enough to be in their rotation. So this is one of those regular season games that you try and make. We had it earlier in the season, guys that switched teams when they played their former teams, like when Oklahoma City went to play the Pacers and then the Knicks, for Paul George and for Carmelo. You find those stories, which you mentioned earlier, and I agree with. In a sport where you kind of really know where the ending's going to be, at least with the last four, maybe even the last two. You got to find those things to put your hat on during the regular season. And we've been able to do that. Last year, Russell Westbrook with 1 million triple-doubles and other storylines. And this year, with
Knicks.
the players switching teams. And it's been the Knicks. It's been so. I do think the NBA has done a good job of that, of finding those storylines and those personalities.
Yeah, you've got visible stars. It's a beauty of a league without helmets. And a league where your fan base is a little more accepting of the, let's say, thoughts and opinions of the people inside the league. But no, that's been a good version of all this. It'll be interesting to see what these teams actually look like at full strength, because last night clearly seemed to be a bit of a dud. Kevin Love was a little dinged up during the game. They were coming on the second night of a back-to-back. Isaiah was out. So you had a lot of things that detracted from what could have been a very big game overall and one I think we get to see again in February. I think
February
that was the
11th.
date point too.
February 11th, yeah.
In fact, Kyrie in his postgame actually referred to that. He's like, look, they didn't have all their guys. We're still trying to figure this all out. We'll get a much better sense of where we both are on February 11th. And I think that's what everybody needs to understand. That's what the NBA season is. I mean, there are certain checkpoints along the way getting to the postseason. And there can't be games that aren't entertaining and interesting, but importance in a single game in the regular season of the NBA doesn't really resonate. It's about an entertaining and a checkpoint spot more than anything else, correct?
Exactly. Taking stock in who you are as a team is a good point when you know you get to ratchet up the intensity.
And I am, for Boston going forward, and I said this all along, I am a big fan of the way they're building. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are fun to watch. Brown is 21, Tatum is 19, and looking at what these guys are doing with their length, and they're able to run 1.68, the other 6'7". I mean, they are impressive.
Isn't Jason Tatum leading the league in 3-point percentage right now, or in 3-point shooting in some version of that category? I think he's the first rookie to do that in God knows how long. So it's an impressive run for those guys on a team that knew it was going to have to replace production when it lost Gordon Hayward.
They're shooting 47% from 3-point land right now. I mean, but they are set so nicely with Kyrie and those two guys, and Hayward can come back from his injury, and they are a good bunch for down the road. Something could it be this year? You know, could they give, depending on Cleveland, obviously, and the health of some of their guys and the rotation, once they get Isaiah Thomas in there, of everybody looking forward to it's like last year we looked forward to the matchup of Golden State and Cleveland, and this year maybe it's the Eastern Conference final matchup before we get to the finals. Can the Celtics do something to the Cavs?
Look, the thing that I find most impressive about what Boston has done is that they don't, I mean, like Cleveland has to score 100 to win. I mean, they're 0-5 or 0-6, I think, this year when they don't score 100. The Celtics defense is tremendous. I mean, you look at the top, they've beaten everybody, they've been 5-0 this season against the current top 6 teams in the NBA. They held them all to under 100 points. You look at what happened last night. Kevin Love, 1 of 11. Dwayne Wade, 2 of 10. Jeff Green, 3 of 11. Jay Crowder, 2 of 12 in his return to Boston. So you know that meant something to him, and maybe he was a little too amped up. But the way the Celtics have played defense this year, to me, is the most impressive thing they've done so far early in the NBA season.
By far.
Yep, I agree.
All right, we continue with what's trending. And
by the way, I hadn't heard that sounder before today. That's
you
intense.
Like it? We like it. It's like a really good game show sound from the 70s.
Yeah. We had 4 to pick from.
Yeah,
we had 4 to pick from.
See?
Yeah, we had 4 to pick from. And we went with this one.
Yeah, it like freaks me out because there's no imaging, there's no words. It's just those sounds, and it's like, oh, okay, it's over now.
Yeah,
you pay attention.
Yeah.
Hey, this is important.
Look over here. Trending.
Exactly. It's what's now. And also, what's now is all of LA's quarterbacks are in the draft.
Yeah.
Within minutes of each other on Wednesday, USC's Sam Darnold and UCLA's Josh Rosen, the top 2 draft-eligible quarterbacks, according to Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay, declared for the 2018 draft. Not really a surprise for Rosen. Some people were a little taken aback that Darnold did declare after a rocky second season as a starter at USC.
Yeah, but most think he's going to go top 3, top 5 at the least, maybe top 3. Exactly. So what are you going back for? And then you talk about going back and getting more experience, but what was Mitch Trubisky, who started 13 games, going back for? He went number 2 in the draft. I mean, if you're going to go there, get paid and learn the NFL system, because the way you're playing quarterback in college is going to be a little different than the NFL, even though they're mirroring a little more to try and take advantage of what some of the college quarterbacks do well into the NFL. But it does seem like, Mike, for the start of the season, we were talking Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Mason Rudolph, those 4 guys. Now Baker Mayfield has jumped in, Lamar Jackson. It seems to me like Rosen and Darnold, it is them, and then who's going to be next? Has Baker Mayfield jumped up to be the number 3 quarterback? Is he going to be, or is it going to be Allen or Rudolph or Lamar Jackson? It seems to me as we go forward that Rosen and Darnold have kind of separated from the rest of those, right?
Yeah, I'm interested in the Lamar Jackson factor of this because he's a junior.
Right. He hasn't declared yet. He has till January 15th, right?
And you mentioned part of the reason that Mitchell Trubisky came out last year was in theory to maybe avoid this quarterback class of guys. Lamar Jackson,
he might do that.
You could come back, add to what could go down with another year as one of the best college careers from a quarterback we've ever seen. He improved on almost every version of his game this season.
He did.
Come back for another year and dodge the bullet on a lot of these guys that the league seems enamored with right now. I'll be interested to see what his decision ends up being.
Especially because even I think if he comes out, I don't think many are going to put him up with that classic guy, and the only thing he has now is shorts and a T-shirt, again, which they'll all look good in, so maybe it would behoove because, as I said, 1 through 3, why are you going back to college? If you're talking about end of first round or second round, well, with a bunch of quarterbacks as well, maybe it would behoove you to go back and be that guy for next year. So, again, the date is January 15th that he has to decide if he wants to come out or not.
By the way, you just played the double behoove card.
I did. I went behoove twice.
You give me grief for saying things like penultimate or plethora or cornucopia, and you just dropped a double behoove. Behoove. Double behoove within like a minute.
That's how I roll.
That's very strong.
Thank you.
It's you know what? You probably did that because you got your meteorological license.
Is that how you say it?
I have no idea.
I don't
Ginger
either.
will straighten this out.
She will.
She's not going to be happy with either one of us.
Not.
There's no way around that.
I know that.
All
She'll
right,
probably
we
love me.
continue. Listen to this. UCF says they're the champs. They are going all in on Queen. We are the champions, my friend. The school has decided to claim a national title to recognize its 2017 undefeated season. Will raise a banner, according to athletic director Danny White. Also, they're going to have a parade at Disney World. But most importantly, if you're going all in, you got to go Jim Fossil. My chips are into the center of the table. His bonuses are into the center of the table. They are paying every coach that was on that staff, and many of them are now going with Scott Frost to Nebraska. Their bonuses that were in their contract had they actually won a national championship.
The game got Danny White on this one. Like, Danny White thought he was gaming all of us. The game got Danny White because that was a last second, oh, wait a minute, by the way, one of the coaches is looking down at his contract. Wait a minute. We get paid off this too.
Yeah.
Definitely not any of these kids that are going to actually have to stay behind and deal with the aftermath of this and another coaching change coming through and not actually get a national championship trophy. Hopefully they at least get them rings.
Yeah, but because you're right. I mean, you make this big stink about we're the national champions, and then maybe a coach says, well, wait, we get this bonus then. What do you say then? Well, hey, you're not really a national champion.
Yeah,
we're just kind of doing this for the program. You know what we're doing here. But they didn't. So to their credit, they went all in on this. I don't have a problem with it. Paul Feinbaum does have a problem with it. He's going to join us a little later in the show. He think it kind of demeans what's going on now. I don't think it does.
Does if you let it.
As they're saying, UCF, they're trying to build their program, so go ahead, enjoy yourself, do your thing, and I'm sure those that want college players to be getting paid are really happy that the coaches are getting that bonus now, and the players are going, what did we get out of this?
We get more cream cheese for the bagels now? Is that how this works?
You get a T-shirt and a hat
That's exactly
for that Peach Bowl. Congratulations.
Peach Bowl.
Yeah,
Peaches for a year.
The shirts don't even say national champions. They just say Peach Bowl.
Hey, listen, everybody play to your strengths, okay? Here's the deal. To me, this national championship pseudo affecting people, it's like wind chill. Mind over matter.
Right.
Just mind over it. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, keep going, aren't you?
All right, we continue. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We have to do something now.
Yeah.
I have no interest in doing it.
Come
but
on!
I was told I have to. Here it is.
It's time to try Trey.
So apparently, people think it's, what was that? Did I miss something?
It's just a great ending.
Wait, can you play it again?
That was really good.
It's time to try Trey.
That's awesome.
Where did I miss the meeting where someone's like, you know what this needs at the end? A little stink. Let's put a little stink on it.
That was really
Tiny
good.
horn.
There you go.
Try Trey is brought to you by Discover Card, who will match all the cash back on new card members, what they earn at the end of their first year. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations do apply. Since you're the new guy on this show, right, we're going to do a little Try Trey, little conversation starters just to kind of get to know you a little bit and kind of where your thought process is. Mike and I may jump in on some of these as well.
I like your Try Trey profile picture on the screen behind us right there.
Again, very nice.
It'd look good on your Farmers Only
That was
account.
supposed to be for email.
For
I don't know
email.
what that was
We're
about.
doing it for Try Trey.
They did the Jedi mind trick on me.
All right, so here we go. We're going to try you, Trey. Kind of conversation starter type things. Are you
Gotcha.
more of an indoor or an outdoor person?
Definitely outdoor. Anytime I can get outdoors.
Because you're a golf guy,
yeah,
right?
I love golf. But like yesterday, it was up to 22, which was a heat wave here.
Yeah.
So it would have been 4, so I went out running yesterday afternoon.
Long walks on the,
Yeah, absolutely.
long walks on the beach?
Absolutely.
All right.
Anything with the beach, I'm good with. But yeah, definitely, especially in the wintertime, anytime I can get outdoors, I'm outdoors. I want to be outside.
I think we're all outdoor people.
Yeah, no, like
Some
that.
potty
Real,
there?
Yeah,
real man's
absolutely
man
right.
out in nature.
Well, those are different things.
Stop with the man's man. Easy. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, this is bad for me.
Yeah.
When the show started, I changed my Twitter profile to say not really a morning person.
Yeah.
So this has been a life adjustment.
So you're a night owl.
I could stay up till 3 every night very easily. This has been hard on the old soul. But we're getting there. We're getting there.
Trey was used to sending the "you up" text. Now we're sending him text to make sure he's actually up.
Yeah. That's totally different. Yes,
I can't remember the last time I stayed up, I think, past midnight. I've been doing this for way too long.
That was a nightly occurrence.
So it's very easy now that I know I'm a morning person. You're a night owl who is now forced to be a morning person.
Help me.
All right, we're trying Trey here. If there was an Olympics for everyday activities, this is actually a good one for everybody out there as well. I do like this one. What activity would you have a good chance at winning a medal in? So again, Olympics for everyday activities, what would you be so good at that you could win a medal in?
Well, and in that way, I'm simpatico with George Costanza. I can find the best parking spot.
Really?
In fact, my nickname in the family is the Par King. I can find the parking spot. You always have to be an optimist. Like when you go to the airport,
right?
And like for example, at our airport, level 3 is the same level as the walkway, so you don't have to go up and down the elevator with your luggage or your golf bags or whatever. I will always park on level 3, and I'll find one closest to the actual door. You have to be an optimist when you're finding a parking
That's impressive.
Space.
That is a good everyday activity. I do like that.
You would place dead last in that, by the way. No one is better at finding the parking spot furthest from where we have to go than this man.
I will circle the block for 30 minutes to find the best spot.
I make up for it.
I will do that.
Because my Olympic activity, this would be in Mike and Mike show, we just go to page 10 and hit the porn bed. That's what I would do for myself.
All right,
that's what I would do.
I see. So I look behind the glass, and I am begging off air for the porn bed music.
No,
and
that's my music.
I am told no, we can't. Disney won't approve of that. When I've had to hear this for years in reference to my parents. Yeah. Afternoon spell. I just, you know what? I don't need this. I'm not being supported right now.
None of us need that, so let's do this. Gets it out of our head.
Here we go.
Out of our system right there.
We're trying Trey. Trey, if you could go back in time as an observer, no one could see you, and you couldn't interact with anything, when would you want to go back?
So to say a specific thing or an era we talking about?
I think a thing. To go back, you wouldn't be seen. You could just go observe it. What would you want to go back and see?
Well, I'm a huge fan of history, so that would be very difficult for me. I mean, most of the books I read are about historical things that actually happened and the stories behind them. So I guess I would. Like one thing that would be really cool, I would love to have gone to the 36 Olympics and see Jesse Owens just smoke everybody.
Oh, wow,
See the entire belief system just completely crumble. That would have been pretty cool. I think that would have been all right. I really like history. So any specific moment in history, quite frankly, good or bad, just to be there and be a part of it, I think that would be pretty cool.
Do you have one for that?
I'm either going Area 51 or the actual UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico.
Okay,
but Area 51 is not a. I mean, it's a thing, but it's not a. It's not a point in time.
Well, no, it's not a point in time. But if you could go back as an observer and see anything without anyone being able to see you or interact, that's the perfect way to go in and see the real Area 51. So I'll go back to when we were at the height of UFO stuff, right around the Roswell, New Mexico
crash. That would be
crash.
cool. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Going back and seeing them actually like sign the Declaration of Independence. That would be kind of cool.
I think I'd go back to the first gladiator battle.
That would be going a ways.
Yeah. Man.
By the way,
Last Supper.
Every once in a while, people ask me my favorite stadiums, and I always put the Coliseum. I mean, it was the Roman Coliseum.
Yes, it
was the original. I mean, it was the big one.
I go back to the Last Supper, be like, this Judas guy, I don't know.
Yeah,
little sketchy. Pass the bread. We'll see what happens.
Got a weird look in his eye.
We'll play this one out.
All right, here, next one. Mm-hmm. Trey, what household chore is the worst?
All of them. They're all terrible.
Do you have one that you're particularly bad at?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. I am an undomesticated animal.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't really do anything?
I try not to.
Okay.
Yeah.
My thought has always been that's what kids are for.
I agree. That's what they're here for. That's the payback.
All right.
These are really good first date questions. I'm going to have to file a few of these away.
What odd talent do you have?
Swipe right on Trey.
0.
You have no odd talent?
Well, I used to be able to burp the alphabet, but that was a long time ago.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
ABCD.
Oh my God!
Wow,
that's
on command.
That's
Where did you pull that from?
I like that a lot.
I drink a lot of carbonated beverages.
That's the morning Trey Diet Coke special coming to work right there.
Might help. Actually, Coke Zero, but separate.
Coke Zero.
I'm going to jump down a few.
Cheribundi.
Okay.
Who's your
also good?
Who's your favorite actor or actress?
I have a couple of those. When I was a kid, two of my favorite movies were The Sting and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I saw them. My parents' favorite movie, so I love Robert Redford would be way up there.
Okay.
John Cusack in the formative years, I thought he was tremendous.
Right.
Leo right now, it's hard to go against Leo DiCaprio right now.
I'd probably
Pretty
go.
rock solid.
I think two of my favorites are Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington.
Yeah, can't go wrong with either one of those.
Like those
Classics.
guys.
Totally
Big-
agree.
I'm a big Gene Wilder fan. I'll put Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka up with any character in movie history.
Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka was great, although you watch it as a kid, it freaks you out. It freaks you out. But Gene Wilder, he had all those great movies with Richard Pryor that they did together,
Oh, yeah.
which were a lot of fun.
All right, let's do one more.
Okay.
Your biggest pet peeve.
Animals dressed as humans.
You see a lot of that?
No, that's just a line from the TV show Friends. Pet peeve, I don't know. You guys got that, right? All the people behind the glass got that. Thank you very much.
You threw it out there so quickly.
Well, there's
90s
nice.
kids, you're talking to a decidedly Friends crowd in here.
Exactly. Long story short, there was an episode where they had a contest to see who would win the bet. And one of the questions was, "What's Monica's pet peeve?" And it was animals dressed as humans.
Okay.
Whenever I see pet peeve, that's the first
Do
thing.
you have a real pet peeve though?
I don't know. Not really. I mean, I don't have one thing that like drives me nuts.
No.
No.
Okay.
Do you have one? Do you have one thing that drives you crazy?
I listen. I've said it for years and years and years. I'm kind of that straightforward guy. If we're going to have a conversation, we're going to have a conversation face to face. I'm not into a lot of the innuendo and
Just
heard this from that.
Shoot it to me straight.
Just shoot it to me straight.
Yeah.
Tell it to me straight.
So in other words, people that try and massage the message.
Yeah. Just tell it to me straight. I'm that kind of go in the room, close the door, and have a conversation type of a guy.
My pet peeve is people who overuse the word epic.
Yeah.
Who does that?
That would be me. I think, right? I think that would be right. I mean, at least I didn't overuse the word behoove.
I did.
That is true.
Twice in a 60-second span.
I did.
All right.
All right, that's a little bit of try Trey. If you have whatever any of your answers were to some of those questions, you can tweet us at Golick and Wingo, at Wingos, at ESPN Golick, at mgolick Jr. 57.
I'm your son. You should know it.
I know. I should know,
Well,
but that's
it
just
is the most
horrific
ridiculous
handle.
long
It's
Twitter
just
handle of all time.
That's fair. Yeah.
You got bailed out when they went to 280.
That should have
You
been
got bailed out when they went to 280.
my Twitter handle should be your guy's pet peeve.
Yeah, that is very
Honestly,
true.
I'll adopt that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I will accept that.
We found you a peeve.
We know what Ginger Z's pet peeve is.
Us.
Yeah.
Coming up next on Golick and Wingo, it was colder in Jacksonville yesterday than it was in Alaska. What does that mean for the Bills-Jaguars game, and why does Ginger Z just going to tear us both apart?
Yeah.
I think we all want to be forever young. We
Yes,
just don't
we do.
get that option.
No, we do not.
So, Whitecliff, why are you bringing us down, man?
Yeah.
Why you got to bring us down with
'Cause
that?
he's
Now I'm
young.
sad. He is young. He's like 4, and he's working here already, which is really impressive. All right, we continue on Golick and Wingo. So we had some fun yesterday.
We did.
With weather.
Yes.
I said I don't believe in wind chill. I think it's a Jedi mind trick. Which is just one little thing. You went full in
Well,
on
I
meteorology.
did. I said I could become a meteorologist with an online course.
So be prepared now for our next guest to just unleash holy wrath upon us. I got to work with our next guest when the Super Bowl was in New York for Super Bowl 48. She was part of our crew on NFL Live. Ginger Zee, who is on Good Morning America and the chief meteorologist for ABC. She did a great job with us. She does a great job every morning. And she joins us now on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Ginger, first of all, we know you have another job that you're doing right now. So we appreciate you being with us. And for all the weather jokes we made yesterday, we're sorry.
Hey, when it comes to defending my science, you know I'll be here. It doesn't matter what's going on. I am so happy to be with you guys this morning. Thank you, because I know as little about sports as you know about weather.
Well,
Then this is going to go perfectly.
But Ginger, do you understand though why we get so angry at weather people? Because
Don't hold on, time out. Let's separate. Not we.
okay,
This is you.
I do.
This is you.
And I'll only speak locally of the people here because they seem so damn giddy when it's horrible outside. It's like they live for this. We're going to get 20 feet of snow. Hip, hip, hooray. And it just aggravates me.
Well, see, and that's okay. That is a personal opinion. You're allowed to have your own feelings. But it is exciting. In the meteorological world, this is an exciting storm. And it's something that as long as people are taking the precautions, we have to get excited about because, you know, it's a passion of ours. It's something we grow up with just like you grow up loving sports. You can almost make the direct parallel with sports and weather.
You absolutely can. As Ginger Zee is with us, the great meteorologist on Good Morning America, ABC's chief meteorologist. Again, she worked with us on NFL Live for Super Bowl 48 in New York. Okay, Ginger, I have lived on the East Coast most of my life, especially right in and around New York and in Connecticut. I had never heard the phrase bomb cyclone and bombogenesis before. So explain to us how this explosive term came to be and what it means for this storm that's hitting all up and down the East Coast from Florida to Massachusetts and beyond.
So it's a term that's been around for almost 40 years. So it's not new. Throughout my education, we talked about bombogenesis. We talked about bomb cyclone. It's been in the glossary of the American Meteorological Society. I don't know why this storm, because we had one in October that bombed out, but nobody cared about that one. One just got more attention. It grabbed somehow a headline. There's also a lot of weather amnesia that happens because I've talked about this in my career a dozen times. And so I think it's just that people don't remember, which is great for us because it makes it exciting again. It's like being born again into bombogenesis. What it means for the East Coast, though, and what's already happened, is we've seen the pressure drop significantly, and it happens rapidly. The rule is you've got to drop 24 millibars in 24 hours, or do it faster, which we are doing. So this is actually bombing out faster than the typical bombogenesis. And so this will mean heavy snow, gusts up to 70 miles per hour all along the coast. And that's, when you go I-95 and you're talking from North Carolina this morning up through Maine and you have blowing snow and 35 plus mile per hour winds, it's a problem.
Yeah, it is certainly going to get ugly up where we are today. It is right now. So everybody getting their shovels and snow plows all ready for that. And you mentioned the wind. And that's one thing that came up yesterday, and I had to yell at Trey for this. So I really need you to kind of...
A Jedi mind trick. I've never heard that.
You and me both. So again, for those that didn't hear, Trey basically said there's no such thing as wind chill.
I refuse to believe in it.
He doesn't
refuse to believe in it. Because I think it's just there to make us feel worse.
When you stand behind a building and there's no wind, and then you walk out and there's wind, you don't feel colder?
Absolutely, but I'm trying to convince myself that the temperature is the temperature,
but that's two different things.
The number is what the number is, and that's what's in my head.
But there's evaporative cooling that happens on your body. It's when you walk out of a swimming pool while you're cold. It's why when you get out of the shower, you're colder, because that counts. That's why. So if wind chill doesn't exist for your car because it's metal and it can't feel.
See, I think I'm made of metal, Ginger. That's it. I think I am the car.
So
I want to be the car.
So that's what it is. The evaporative cooling. That's
yes.
The wind chill.
Yes, and so it's what it does to our bodies. It's what the wind does to the temperature on our body, and so it's and what the wind makes it feel like. So that's why and people will there is an anti-wind chill group. You can actually join it. I think they're on Facebook, that comes at me on a daily basis saying, I just want to see the air temperatures. I don't want to see the wind chill. So you're not alone, Trey.
Yes.
That's the good news.
Well, at least I'm not with the flat earth people. So I got that going
close,
for me. So I think the wind chill thing that I can come around with is just don't get out of the pool and wind chill won't be a problem.
There you go.
There it is. We're good. I'm staying in the pool. No matter the temperature, wind chill won't be an issue.
There's nothing wrong with staying in a pool. One other thing that I have to ask, because my other show, Mike and Mike, Greeny would always bring this up because he was a local sportscaster before he came here to ESPN. Is there?
So was I, by the way.
All right, then you can answer this as well. Is there a love-hate with the local weather people and the sports? Because anytime the weather's going to get bad, the sports department loses time on their local broadcast.
Chopped. Yes. Oh, 1,000,000%. Because I worked in Chicago, so a huge sports city, and I worked in other cities too. But you talk about a place that really cares about their sports. I would be before, because that's just how a local newscast is stacked, anybody doing sports. And if we had any sort of weather, I trumped them, and it was big, and they were like, I hate you. So, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I can confirm. I mean, I worked in St. Louis before here, and whenever there was snow or heat or thunderstorms, you get 90 seconds for sports. Cardinals win, Blues sign this player, and Rams training camp's back. Back to you. That was the entire sportscast. But there is
what? But it happens on the other end, too. We pay for it. We pay for it when the weather's nice.
You're exactly right, and things go well in the sports world. You have to get along well with others, and that's part of it. And speaking of getting along well with others, we appreciate you indulging us here because we realize we are not that bright when it comes to weather.
And you know what? When I'm confused about sports, I know where to go. So now we've got this great symbiotic relationship.
Teamwork.
And I'm so happy.
and let's marry the two for a moment here with the games in Jacksonville. We know it was cold in Jacksonville, but not sure what it's going to be for this weekend. And then in Kansas City. So the two spots where we have,
outdoor games.
Outdoor games. What are we looking at?
The wind chill in this morning, just to give you perspective, though, in place like West Palm Beach or Jacksonville is in the teens or 20s in some spots in South Florida. So they are going to warm up from that point. But it'll still be chilly. I mean, it's going to be – Orlando had their first freezing temperature in more than 4 years. So not like you usually see Florida, but certainly improving. By Monday, they're going to be in the 70s in North Florida, so they're fine. And then Kansas City, what day is the game? I'm sorry. See, I have no idea.
Kansas City game is Saturday on ESPN and ABC.
Saturday.
Yeah.
I have to go look. I'm so sorry because I've been so focused on this storm.
No, that's okay.
It's okay.
It's understandable. Well, we know there'll be a smell of barbecue, and that's all that really matters.
Actually, I would like to ask you one other thing. There was a story out yesterday that I couldn't figure out. They said it was possible that it might be colder in Chicago over the next few days than it would be on the temperature of Mars. Is that even remotely possible?
See, that's not a fair representation. That one's tough because they don't have the same atmosphere. You can't compare. So no.
Thank you.
Don't say that.
Someone put that out there. That can't be true.
Oh,
that
and
can't
by the way, I'm looking
true.
now. I'm looking now for Kansas City, and it looks beautiful. I mean, freezing at the freezing mark, but it looks beautiful.
Hey, people in Kansas City are used to that. That's no problem.
That is great to know. And I think obviously you do a great job, but I applaud your father, who was a huge fan of Gilligan's Island. I was as well, that you were named after Ginger from Gilligan's Island. I love Gilligan's Island.
It's still a show that I go to and I leave on. Like if it's somewhere in the background, I'm a happy gal. But I do think that I'm a mix between Marianne and Ginger, really, if it comes down to it.
Hey, we will go with that as well. Ginger, great talking to you again. Thanks for explaining the bombogenesis thing, which was a little confusing, and the bomb cyclone. And I'm coming around on the wind chill thing. I just want you to know that.
All right. Come our way. It's a great place to be. It's not warm, but it's good.
That's also true. Ginger Zee, thanks for being with us, Ginger. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Ginger,
she kind of, she took a shot at us, obviously.
We deservedly. Yeah. We both deserve.
She knows as much about sports as we know about weather.
Also true. So, can you throw up that meteorological degree you got online?
I got it last night online.
Yeah. No, I think that means you can marry people. I don't think that means you can predict the weather.
Oh, I'm a minister.
There it is.
Not a meteorologist.
It was a ministeriological degree more than anything else.
Oh my gosh.
Ginger, by the way, has a book that's out now. It's a New York Times bestseller, so good for her.
And it is true. Her dad was a huge fan of Gilligan's Island and named her Ginger after Ginger, because that's always the universal question, right?
Yeah.
Ginger or Marianne?
Yep, absolutely.
And I've always chosen Ginger.
There you go.
Yeah,
always.
I've always when
not
that
just because we had Ginger.
No, it had nothing to do with it. Okay. We've done this tons of times. Ginger or Marianne. I was always Ginger. Yeah.
One of the great theme songs, by the way, of all time, the Gilligan's Island.
One of the most fun things I did when we would go to Hawaii to cover the Pro Bowl at the end of the year.
This was a glorious time.
This was early on when it was still, I believe, NFL Tonight, not NFL Live, and Mark Malone, Sean Salisbury, myself, Merrill Hodge. We would go out to Hawaii for the week. We did a spoof because in Hawaii there was where they shot the opening scene of Gilligan's Island, and we went there and we shot it. I believe I was Gilligan. Mark Malone was the skipper. Sean Salisbury was the millionaire, and his wife at the time was in it as well. Tony Baselli came in and played in it with us as well. Nice. Yeah, he
was he the
shot
professor
it with us.
Or somebody else?
No, we changed the song to we needed a cameraman, and he ended up being the cameraman. But we did a great spoof to the opening of Gilligan's Island. I'd love to find that and get it. We could show it in one of our TV segments. It was really funny.
Yeah, Riley, get on that. Our research. Just find that tape. And Riley, also find that video of me doing weather in Binghamton, New York in 1989.
We need that.
It happened like 3 times. I'm sure it doesn't exist. I'm praying it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I bet you are.
All right, coming up, the Bills are back in the playoffs finally. Up next, we'll take a look at how the world of sports has changed and how the world in general has changed since they last made it to the NFL tournament 17 years ago. Next on Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio, ESPN2.
Golic and Wingo, presented by 1-800-Flowers.com. Starting off the year with a little romance is easy at 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you order a dozen multicolored roses for only $29.99, you're going to get another dozen absolutely free. You want to order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. I have to make a quick correction. I can't believe it. My wife texted me for this must be my age thing. When that age-old question always comes up, Ginger or Marianne?
Yeah.
And I said I was always Marianne. I was Marianne every every single time.
Earlier today when you said 3 times, I am definitely Team
I
Ginger.
know. I can't believe I did that because I've always voted Marianne every single time.
That's what happens, man.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Well, you know what? You got both your bases covered.
So there you go.
You're good either way. You are good either way. You are Switzerland. You are a neutral participant.
Uh-huh.
Good for you. By the way, we've been talking a lot about the UCF thing and how they're going to have their own national championship in the parade. Real quickly, UFC AD Danny White's going to be on Outside the Lines today. So I'll be curious to hear just how far they're willing to take.
Well, they're all in. I mean, they seem to be completely all in on this thing.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be all in, you better stay that way.
Yeah.
You know, at this
and
point,
pay those bonuses.
At this point, you can't back off a bit. You've gone from you're getting a banner made, you're having a parade at Disney World, and you're paying your coaches your bonuses. You can't back off any of that stuff.
Yeah. So again, Outside the Lines today, 1:00 Eastern on ESPN. University of Central Florida athletic director Danny White, who said on the field of the Peach Bowl as soon as they won the game, national champions. He'll be in to talk more about how much they are all in on that idea. Okay, you know who's all in on another idea, and that would be most of Western New York. Because the Buffalo Bills, thanks to their win over the Dolphins, and obviously Andy Dalton's comeback win over the Ravens, put them in the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. We've broken that down even farther. It has been 9,456,727 minutes since the Bills' last playoff game.
How about that?
And safe to say the world has changed dramatically in that time frame.
I would say so. I love this. 5 major teams have been born. The NHL gained 3. The Columbus Blue Jackets, Minnesota Wild, both in 2000, and obviously this year, the Vegas Golden Knights. Also, the Texans joined the NFL in 2002, and the Charlotte Bobcats, now the Hornets, joined the NBA in 2004. So 5 new major teams in the sporting world came into being since the last time the Buffalo Bills were in the playoffs.
And I think this one is relevant too for a lot of people because we're sort of on the back end of this now. Tiger Woods won 12 of his 14 majors since the last time the Bills were in the playoffs. He won the 97 Masters, and then he won the 99 PGA at Medina, and then the Bills made the playoffs, and then he won the rest of them. The rest of 12 majors over that time frame. And of course, it's interesting now that the Bills are back in the playoffs and Tiger is finally back and playing
again. Play again, yeah.
Yeah.
That was in your Tiger folder, I'm sure.
I could pull it up right now.
LeBron James, in the time frame of the in between the Bills being in the playoffs, joined the Cavs, left for Miami, and then won Cleveland's first championship in decades. One of the greatest basketball players of all time. He didn't become a household name until he became the number 1 pick in 2003.
Well, and then along those lines, because Cleveland obviously had been through a long drought, the last time the Bills were in the playoffs before the 2017 season, both the Cubs and Red Sox were still looking for that elusive World Series since the early 1900s. And the White Sox, for that matter, too.
Wow.
I mean, all 3 of those teams had those amazing droughts. And those droughts ended well before the Bills' playoff drought of 17 seasons came to a close.
Perfection and imperfection. The Patriots completed the NFL's first 16-0 season in 2007 before losing when they were 18-0 in the Super Bowl. And 2 teams, the Detroit Lions in 2008, and of course the Cleveland Browns this year, were the first 2 teams to go 0-16.
And those are sort of the sports-related things and how the world has changed. But if you want to look at like a bigger picture of just how crazy this drought is in terms of how the world has changed, since the Bills' last playoff appearance in 1999, or when this happened, in 1999, none of these things existed. Facebook, 2004. YouTube, 2005. Twitter, 2006. Instagram, 2010. Snapchat, whenever that was, 2013 or whatever it was. I mean, you want to talk about how the world has completely changed since the last time the Bills made a postseason. So that might sum it up.
Last time they were in the playoffs, how were we communicating?
Yeah.
We were actually calling people on a phone?
Yeah, or from my car phone.
Yeah.
We were calling people from the car phone.
And we were faxing people.
Exactly. We were using landlines.
You were getting that fax, and the fax, the paper would fall behind and roll up.
And curl over. Yeah.
Absolutely hated that. And oh, by the way, one more sports thing. Michael Phelps won all of his record 28 medals.
Crazy.
Olympic medals during that time frame as well.
And that's why the Bills fans are partying like it's 1999
well, they should be.
All over again. All right, coming up next, we'll head to South Beach and check in with Stu Gotts from the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu. I'm told he is fired up about Nick Saban.
Oh, boy.
Well, he's always fired up about something.
Yes, he is.
But I'm excited to hear why he's fired up about Nick Saban. Stay with us.